January 4th meeting of the Board of Selectmen, the first one of 2022. If everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Sorry we're a bit late. We had a workshop with department heads and budget committee as we launch the budgeting effort for the upcoming year. So, and let me go to no public hearings this evening. Any announcements from the board? No. Seeing none. Other than it just came over my thing that the guy in Shapley's been caught, but
so he's not here.
Any additions, deletions to the agenda that you know of?
Unless the budget committee member. But I don't know if you do that next week.
Huh?
The budget committee member that resigned.
Yeah, I guess we can do that.
I would like to have a conversation on Gobiel Park.
Oh, I already added it to next week's agenda.
Gobiel Park. So why don't we?
You want it tonight, Dwayne?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
So we'll add that under 9A, Gobiel Park. Discussion, right? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Three of us here, 3 A's. All right. Anything else? Public comment? Correspondence, we do have the latest treasurer's reports, which cover the first half of the year. Anybody's interested in that, please let us know and we'll get you a copy. Also, I believe they're in the packet. So if you have access to the website, you can pull up the sheets. Selectmen's reports. Anything, Dwayne?
Nothing.
Mike?
No. Nope.
You showing off your tan?
It's in a personal report.
All right, I'm all set.
Okay.
Go ahead, Matt.
Just a couple things. CEO will be out of the office until at least next Monday, unless he has more symptoms, but he's tested positive, so he'll be out a while.
Who's that?
Code enforcement.
Oh.
Yeah, CEO.
It's a lot of people. So.
Yeah, I suspect it's going to run its course through here. Obviously, Dennis mentioned earlier, but we have several pipes at the library that need to be replaced. We met with Owen Brochu last week down there, and he's going to work up a proposal for us. He's thinking probably around $300 to $3,500 to replace some of the damaged ones, or the ones that are leaking. There's several in the kids' room downstairs. So we'll get that. Hopefully, get that addressed if we can get somebody to come back and.
Do you have any idea how long those have been in there?
We were thinking, 47, 48 in that ballpark?
1947.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 80 years.
So they've been there quite a while.
A little over 80 years.
So we have some work to do down there, but
That's on well, right? Is that on well?
No,
That-
these are the heat, for the heat.
that
Oh,
is
these are heat.
right. But that is well, correct?
Yes.
it is
Yes,
well.
It is well.
But there is probably, they've taken the asbestos out, but how much of it did it ever get done?
And these are the exposed pipes
Yeah.
down in the basement, but it is a steam boiler. If you asked, I think you just asked that, but yeah, steam.
First grade there.
Well,
I went to first grade there in 1956.
I don't even know what to say.
we're in shock. We're in
I
shock.
was trying to think, but I went first and second grade, so.
Anyhow, so yeah, transfer station. I did talk to Josh, and he's going to work on some safety stuff for the barricades and some cones for around the backhoe loader for some safety. I did talk to Pete the other day, just so you know. Friendship Park, the committee down there coordinated to have the removal of the trees. So it was a volunteer job to be done. And Pete's going to follow up with the committee to find out what the status is, to see the time frame to get the remainder of that. The big stick that's sticking up in the air that has no limbs on it down
I
there.
saw it. We can make a nice total.
A sculpture.
Have it carved.
We have a meeting next, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday.
Will anybody in town offer a carving? We know anybody?
Pete and I have had some conversations, and we're going to continue to work on getting an RFP out as soon as we can to replace the siding at the old town hall. The middle section,
Oh, yeah.
where it looks,
no.
from the road, it looks
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Yeah, it's
And
not
I
nice.
mentioned that the other night, but,
Yeah.
And the sign needs to be redone.
we
Sign.
stopped that project at one point
No, the one on the building.
because of the historical society. Wanted that clapboarded. But it's got to a point where we can't keep paint on it. And the vinyl, I think, is the only way to keep that building looking like the other two buildings, but
Tie it together.
that probably goes back 15 years now. Dennis, was you
Gotta be.
involved with that at all? I
remember-
was
I
way
remember when
back,
they-
but-
I remember when there was an issue with, rather than putting clapboards up, rather in the vinyl versus the clapboards, but, there comes a point in time where, it's nice to keep it historical,
Yeah.
but,
You can poke a pencil through
we,
it now.
we,
Oh, I know.
It's,
we ruined the historical nature of this one in 1980 when we added the
This
first
one.
piece
Yeah.
to the old building.
Yeah.
So,
That was 76 maybe when that was put onto a foundation
yeah.
and I think that might go back to but just ought to touch base with them and,
the historical.
yes,
And that's Jim Carl heads that, right?
I believe, I don't know. I think they've changed hands. Jim's kind of stepped down a little bit, but Vic Wright is, but if you got a hold of Jim, Jim would tell you where to go.
Okay. And that's to see if they want to save any of the vinyl, the siding over there, the wood siding.
Yeah, or if they have any real objections of putting the vinyl to it. Because there ain't much left of the clapboards, and it ain't worth, in my mind, keeping the clapboards. We might as well pull the clapboards off and put some insulation on them walls and vinyl it.
Yeah. I'm good.
All set?
Yep.
All right, let's jump to 9A. You want to talk about Gobiel Park?
Gobiel Park. We've had some ice shacks up there for a month and a half. And we have an ordinance for Gobiel Park. I don't believe there should be an ice shack there before January 1st when ice fishing starts. And on the
They
tail,
want to get the right spot.
well, yes.
I don't know.
But-
I don't know how they do that if
There's-
there's no ice in the lake.
I think I counted 7 ice shacks up there today, which would be all right, because we might have some ice before the winter's out. But realistically, the middle of November, we don't need, I don't know what our liability is with these shacks.
Where are they doing?
Right on the beach.
So they're on the
They're-
public beach where we sit in the summer.
Yeah, where
to
the
right of the
sand
road.
is and, yep, in front of the settees. But, we need to come up with an ordinance and I'd just soon get it done sooner than later. It ain't gonna do anything this year, but, if we had a town ordinance, that would take care of it. And on the other end, those shacks should be removed they should be gone April 1st, but if we went to April 10th. Last year, some of those sat there till almost the middle of May.
I'm aware.
And I think some of them had to be called a couple times to get them off the beach area. So if we had something in writing, we may have to have a public hearing on it to create a, we've got an ordinance on Gobiel Park, so all we gotta do is add to the ordinance that we have.
There's a Parks and Rec space ordinance,
Yeah,
which includes Gobiel Park, includes all of them, but
We don't require permits for them, do we?
no.
Do any towns require permits for ice shanties?
This falls in under the fish and game, but we have the rights to protect our park.
And the lake.
Yeah. The other thing I would really like to see is to pull in the land trust and see if the town of Waterboro can take back over Bob Fay's Park. Last summer I had many complaints of needles and other things up there to Bob. It's not being taken care of, it's just plain filthy, and I think the town should have, I don't think they should have ever handed that over to the land trust to start with, but,
well, that's a discussion that I think we can certainly have with them. That's,
yeah,
but I think we probably need to work the language in the Parks and Rec spaces
yeah,
for the ice shanty issue.
yeah. And that's all I got on that.
Okay?
I'd like to have to go to the park. I have more of a problem with every time you drive over that beach field over there. It's outrageous. Just one of these times you go right through, and that's going to be very expensive as well. I'd like to have a guardrail that goes right up around, plus to protect the people on the beach, so people parking cars and
That-
have an accident to run.
That was
over.
supposed to be done by the department about 3 years ago.
News to me.
It was actually voted on by the selectmen to put guardrails or a wooden fence,
Yeah.
big post, wooden
Budget
fence,
number to have that done.
and there'd be 2 entrances down onto the beach. And that was back,
Yeah, that's gotta be 4 or 5 years ago now.
yeah.
You ruin that infrastructure, that's going to be very
Yeah.
expensive, permitting and everything else.
That also, now that we're onto that end of it, that should have a load of sand put over the top of that leach field almost every year, because that sand's being carried out into the water or out off that field with wet feet.
It is.
On
And,
that, you have the rainwater washing, and the leach field is designed to leach and bubble it through, which carries
Yeah.
the water. So,
But that was the design of it. The original design, it called for regrading of it each year.
hey, I'd
That,
love to throw a budget number to do that,
yeah.
that needs to happen.
Yeah. At one point, we had some posts.
Well, I'd
And-
like to get a nice design where
Yeah.
we're gonna use it.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that looks nice.
The trouble with the guardrails, and we talked about this 4 or 5 years ago when that was gonna be done, the sharpness, if you crawl over a
That's the
guardrail,
one, right?
there's some sharpness there, and
So there's some nice decorative guardrails in the community, I've taken pictures of all kinds of them, and I'd like to bring them up at some point, and we'll
Yeah.
have a discussion, and that's what I'd like to do.
yeah. But now's the time to get it done and get your money into a budget so it can be done,
Absolutely,
So-
thank you.
yeah.
If we could add to the budget too, that we probably need to, who's responsible for maintaining the boat launch? Us, the state, I hear,
No, everything is ours,
okay.
everything is ours.
So we got to address the boat launch this year too.
The boat launch was given to us by the Department of Inland, and we are to maintain that and it's gotta be open a certain amount of hours every day so that the inland fishing gang will dump the fish in.
But the maintenance of it is the town's responsibility.
Town's
Okay.
Do you
responsibility.
have a maintenance plan of what the expectation is? Anyways?
All I can tell you is you gotta go up
There is-
65 feet to get your boat off your trailer. now.
There
Not
is a,
disagreeing, but
Yeah,
they must have given us some guidelines of what.
I believe there is a blueprint of the last time that those planks were put in.
Put in. We've added to those planks several times.
So I don't know where we would grab that, but there's gotta be one somewhere around here.
I want to say that it was 1983, but it might have been 85.
Well, when we
When-
redid it, and we drained the lake down an extra,
That's the time to do it at the 5 year
Yeah.
thing, to do
the
it right.
extra 2 feet,
Should've
right?
done last
I mean,
year.
we never got it
Yeah,
done,
that's the vote.
but that was, I mean, we did that, and we had to have permission to drain the lake further down. And I believe the DEP, if not the Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Department, have the specs on how those
We,
went
we
in.
should have that here, too.
Should, and
Yeah,
do, and where can we find the 3 different things?
yeah.
Yeah,
It started in either 83 or 85, because I went to Gardner with truck and trailer, and I made 4 trips
I haven't seen them.
to
haven't found
get
them
them.
I haven't seen either, I haven't looked.
Doug is the last guy that put them in.
Yeah.
I haven't asked for it. That's
We
another
drained it,
conversation.
we drained the lake down further
Yep.
that year, so that we could do that boat launch work. That's gotta be 7, 8 years ago. So, I think it was, we drained it down last year for the 5th year, right? And it was 5 years prior to that, because we pulled it down, that's when we cut the big hole in the front of the dam, so that we could pull the lake down further.
the previous town administrator told me that they were supposed to do the boat launch this year with the drawdown. But it didn't get done.
Yeah, that's a nugget we leave.
Okay,
I don't know if it can go another 5 years. So,
well, we can, I
can
mean,
always
we
do
have a
another-
policy that says every 5th year we'll draw it down. That doesn't mean that we can't.
yeah, right?
I don't think it got drawed down this year because of the
Did.
amount of water. Did it ever get to the low point though?
Oh, we got to the low point.
Because at one point, the river was hot. The
I lost my
river was,
well. I know it got to the low point, I lost my well.
well, that's what you get for sucking out of the lake.
Well, I'm a drill point, so. I'm a drill
So,
point, I don't
you
suck water out of
You
the
just said it, you draw it out of the lake.
Yeah,
All right,
it's the
so
benefit of living on the lake.
make sure you put the, you know, whatever we gotta put into the, because we're in the, I mean, it's not gonna get done now, right? But this fall, we might be able to,
Have a special.
I don't think that we
Yeah.
need permission from the DEP to draw it down that extra couple of feet, but maybe we do.
Well, we could always just let them know, too.
You would definitely want to do it before the ice gets too thick up there,
Right.
because you're gonna make
So
an
it'll have to
awful.
be done next October, right?
I think I read that we had to approve it and then the dam master would execute it.
Yeah,
That's what I read.
Right.
Local control.
right, I do believe that it's controlled by that ordinance.
Yeah.
I don't know that we got a dam. We may have, but I thought the guy had given up.
Okay.
He,
No,
didn't Don draw that down this last fall?
right, only because the
Only
other guy's
because the
gone
other
for,
fella's
He's out of
gone,
town.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be back.
he's back, he's coming back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Broussard,
right.
yeah, and Don is filling in for him.
Yeah.
Okay? Anything else? Let's jump over to old business and discuss possible vote on ARPA funds. A lot of activity has been stimulated. We've got the, and unfortunately, we're missing 2 folks tonight. But a lot of work has gone into from a lot of different people, and they're trying to look at each and every individual department to find out where we should be or where we are compared to other municipalities. One of the open issues really was, which I know Dave brought up a couple of weeks ago, was the expending ARPA funds for essential personnel, right? And we conducted a vote here last month, relative to the first responders. But I think the intent was to look at above and beyond what was considered first responders to essential workers, right?
Yes, and on the back, we give the definition for those, for the eligibility for that for you.
So I guess my question is something that we want to take on?
We can look at this tonight, but with 2 members missing, I don't feel like I want to vote. I'd rather have all 5 of them here.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with, if we got to call a special business meeting, we'll call a special business meeting and go through this. So we can get it
Either
done
that,
sooner
or we
than
can, tomorrow night, after we come out of that water district, have a half-hour meeting, if they're all gonna be here.
The planning board's here tomorrow night. at
Right.
6:30.
It don't matter,
Well,
but we can meet elsewhere.
We're going to be over at the water district's office, right?
No, he's starting here
Okay,
at
we're
5,
starting.
and then
Okay.
their meeting starts at 6.
All right, so
Then
we'll-
they'll leave.
All right.
No, the water.
So we'll be done by, they're going to go have their business meeting where they normally have it, right?
Yes,
Okay. So from 5 to 6, we're in this room.
yes.
And at 6
Yeah,
o'clock, we can
let's-
go to the lunchroom if they're all here.
Yeah, let's
but-
see what, if all 5 of us are here, then I think we can have this discussion.
Yeah.
I don't
Well-
necessarily, I agree with you, Dwayne, I'm not sure that without the other 2, that we're gonna have a meaningful discussion.
I don't,
We can have a meaningful discussion.
if we can't get 5 together, at least 4. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd like to have the majority, and 3's majority, but I'd like to have everybody involved here.
So this definition, which is the final sheet in this pack,
That's the last one, and also,
is the federal definition.
In the final rule for the registry.
So
Register.
eligible workers, which you got highlighted there.
and also on page 26, one of the last paragraph. Page before that, yes. And it states that you can change it if you need to.
Yeah, that's for premium pay. I'm not sure that what we're talking about here is, I think what we said is that, I mean, certainly the risk of not doing the first responders was one relative to losing employees to other municipalities who are paying more. But, yeah, this is pretty extensive here.
Oh, there's a lot of it.
Yeah, you probably need a law degree to read this.
Very high reading.
Page after page after page.
That's what they're good at.
Can I make a recommendation in this report, though? You've got years of reference for the fire department, not everybody that works for the town. And for job descriptions, I make a recommendation also to change their clerks out front to full of their positions, because they in essence are still the town clerk, the tax collector, or myself, also the treasurer, because it's just by charter that the administrator has the job, but the girls are all still doing our same jobs if it was the full title. And if you put in the deputies of other towns, you had a actual person doing the treasurer's job or the clerk's job as well as a deputy in most of your towns.
I think certainly we can take a look at that. Unfortunately, right now, the charter's language is very clear.
No, but I meant just as on this price down verifying to other towns, you ought to go to the actual positions.
Well, some towns call it one thing and some
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
because I did all of this,
That,
and I worked with them, so.
that,
as do I.
yeah. As far as what you're saying, I would agree with you almost 100%. As long as they're certified,
Thank you.
qualified, been through the training to get certified as the, you know,
And all your girls are up front.
yeah.
So when you looked at, and I think it's on page 3 that we kind of referencing, we look at like the deputy town clerk, we compared, when we looked at Sanford and Buxton and whatnot, so when we're comparing the deputy town clerk here to the town clerk in Sanford, or the town clerk in Buxton?
Yes. As you can see.
So in title here, it's a deputy town clerk because it's what the charter says. It says the town administrator is the town clerk.
And that's what they say, like, that's how they're titled in the MMA survey.
As a
Their
deputy.
titles as a deputy,
Yes.
And that's
but
all
our,
over.
but our deputy town clerk does town clerk work.
Yes.
Yes, but many of those towns didn't list a town clerk.
So, okay,
So,
yeah, because some of them have the same, certainly Gray has the same structure that we do, right? The town manager is the town clerk, tax collector, treasurer.
Durham was the same way.
It says that on your charter?
Yes. That's how our charter was kind of generated, was based off
And Gray is one of the towns that I worked with, and Standish, to getting from other towns that they had done.
You got a question in the back row.
Yep.
Yeah, just to make it, just so people don't get this mixed up. I know a lot of these different town managers and, there's, so I just want to make it known that a lot of them do not, they either don't have or they have limited administrative roles at the transfer station. That's kind of big. I just want to put that out there so everybody knows.
You mean the transfer station manager position?
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a lot of discussion, Matt and I, about, and I think we had, Gunkwit was the one we yanked off, right, because it was so
Yeah, he's a
radically different, right? I mean,
And so is in Kittery.
so,
Lot different operation though.
yeah, I mean, and when you look at Buxton, as an example, right?
Yeah.
Buxton is part-time, right? I mean, the transfer station manager, the transfer station's only open over there on the weekends, right? So they've got, when you look at the laborers, they're minimum wage, basically, right? Or maybe a little bit, but most of them are young kids, right? That are, so, but they have curbside pickup. Right.
But I think we do have a big difference between our manager and, let's just say, the foreman position. It's a
Right.
huge difference.
What's your thoughts? And I'm just gonna throw this out because I've heard it throughout the town. You're having a hard time keeping weekend help. Do away with your Sunday
I would
and
like, no,
and-
continue, go ahead.
run that transfer station Tuesday through Saturday.
I think that would work a lot better.
And then you've got Monday if you needed to go in and clean up before Tuesday morning, but you're not trying to flip-flop them containers on Sunday when you can't get a driver or you can't haul them right off. You could get those containers in till noontime, so that means by 10:30 Saturday morning that a full container could be headed for Portland, and the same thing throughout the week. And then
Well,
you're not
I mean, that's something that, certainly we're not gonna.
due today, but,
No, yeah, it's not gonna happen.
but is
I
that,
think that as you go into the budget season, and I think that's something that's gonna have to come out of that, right, is hours of operation. I know Sunday becomes really,
It's the day. Everybody waits until Sunday to go.
but the reason that they come Sunday is because people now work 6 days a week,
Right.
right?
But
So-
could we do like what we do on a Wednesday and open it from a noon to 7, or, open it from 9 to 7, I know, but we'd have to adjust as far as some of
But
the part-time
that's,
guys.
that's something that,
We'll get there.
well.
Maybe
the
somebody
two-
with a
the two
clipboard
ga- The 2 days.
could
that
take
you-
a survey while people are going through
Yeah.
somebody
two-
that's running for office this spring.
The 2 nights that you opened that for the evening, till 7 o'clock or so, you could open that at noontime,
Right.
noon to 7, and I don't know. It has been brought to my attention that might be a, and then we ain't got, employees working on a Sunday.
I think it's great.
And on your holidays fall on Monday in most cases, and that would just mean that you'd be closed, you'd be closed anyway on Monday.
Right, yeah.
Sunday and Monday, you'd close it. And it'd be a work
I think it's
schedule.
respectful too.
So let's talk about, let's see if we get a group of more than 3 of us
Yeah.
tomorrow night, right?
Well, when we close this meeting, I can continue that till 6 o'clock tomorrow night, if you want. We don't have to close it
Yeah, but
tonight.
if we're gonna vote on something, then we need to publish it
Right.
and have a separate
But
meeting.
if there's more than 3 of us meeting, then we still got to, we got to advertise it. We haven't
Well,
got
we got it
24.
advertised, right? That we're having a workshop tomorrow night,
Yes.
so it's already advertised.
Okay.
Because this is like putting a Band-Aid on a sore and then ripping it off.
Yeah,
Because, whatever we do is not gonna be complete,
no.
right? And that's why I said, when we had the budget discussions, we really need to work. Either we hire an HR firm to come in here, or we end up bellying up to the bar and hiring a HR manager or something. But, yes, sir.
So after helping Josh out here this winter, major concern up there, that I think, is it's not properly lit. We had incident after incident after incident this last weekend of people pulling up. They can't see, they're walking in front of cars, they got their lights on. It's impossible, and you're trying to move them if we get full at the one dumpster to the other one, and there's no light.
So you should
Headlights become
you should put that into your budget, because we added lights,
Right, yeah.
right? And it's evidently,
Yeah, I didn't know if he did or
No,
not.
yeah, well,
we added
what we
lights,
have now is a big improvement on what we had.
but it's still not sufficient
Yeah.
from a safety standpoint.
I have, that's in the budget now.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Funds, we're talking about for wages, does that also go for sanitation as far as For the dump, for the compactor, would it go for that as well, or just for wages?
I'm not sure, that's a good question relative to,
So,
because as we've talked, there's a lot of people doing a lot of different
Yeah.
manipulations with this American Rescue. So that probably is a valid discussion. It says sanitation.
Correct.
Well, it says you
Well,
can use it for infrastructure, you could use it on roads if you wanted to.
if you have a documented loss of revenue from the loss of revenue.
Also revenue to the transfer station, that's what we do.
But that's what we would need to look at, that loss of revenue to see what the, right, but we had an increase in revenue, and so, we'd have to look at the whole thing, see what the percentage is, but.
We had a documented loss in revenue at the transfer station.
We could, I guess. We should. There's a lot more, we're losing out on a lot of revenue, yeah, that's for sure. A lot of revenue.
Right, but not because of the pandemic, correct?
We're still losing out on a lot
It's
of
gotta
revenue.
be,
But it's gotta be related to COVID.
COVID.
Yeah, creativeness, I get it.
But, that being said, there are people that are, I won't say manipulating, but you get my drift, right? There are a lot of things that will be purchased with American Rescue Funds because there's a different slant put on it.
I thought our revenue was,
Well, I think what he means is, we are showing, we could bring in $150,000 in revenues, but it still doesn't cover our total operation costs. I think that's what he's referring to.
oh,
Is that what you're talking about?
Right. And
Yeah.
additional revenues that we just.
But
but if you were to look at the revenue line in the budget, it's not.
But the way that this talks about sanitation, that's another issue, right? If it's sanitation relative to COVID.
Yeah. Throwing it out there.
Yeah, if you looked at it that way, you look at the increased people home,
Alright,
coffee machines
so
running.
let's see what we can, if we can get more than 3 of us tomorrow night, then we'll have that discussion. It'll still be a workshop at that point, but, and if we have to call a vote, we'll call a vote, I'll call a special meeting. So. All right. Other discussions, vote to approve the minutes of the December 21st regular meeting.
So moved.
Yeah, something.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right, we got pending decisions. We're still talking about Bennett Hill Road. We'll add to that list as, I'm sure, when we open this big can of worms up, we'll add some other things, and I really think that, maybe we kick off, and I know Dana certainly wants to be involved in the road review and whatnot, but maybe there's some opportunity to at least go back to the road review committee, the road Bible, as it's been referred to many, many times in this town, and find out what we know or can find for additional information.
The comments on Chadman's Ridge, that went from Route 5 to Willis Lodge Barn.
Originally.
Yes, they turned it over to a state aid road, and the main reason that was turned over to a state aid road was the culvert was gone at the dam, and they wanted the state to put that in, so they created that, and they took, help me out, Dennis, his wife was a school teacher, and he was a state senator.
Berdeen.
Berdeen was in his deathbed.
His name is in that document that
Yeah.
applied for him.
Well, they took him out of bed and drove him to Augusta so that he could vote on that to create that a state aid road. And that was, I've seen that in several documents around in the past, but that was always a big joke that that's how they got that, and that was in the 50s somewhere, I think. It may have been early 60s, but I think it was before I was even thought of.
Okay?
Yep.
Let me come up here. Doesn't matter.
I do agree with what you're saying about from Route 5 up to Willis Lord's
Yeah.
Barn, okay? But the paperwork that I brought in and left off at the office refers to essentially from Willis Lord's Barn up to Edgecombe's Bridge out on 117, which was another, it refers to 2 miles and 61 rods of road. Okay. So that was county road also. I believe that the county section that came to Willis Lord's Barn actually turned right and went down Lord Lane, what is now Lord Lane, and came out down to Deer Pond.
Yes. So that was my, I believe you're right there. That piece of road from the brick house down on what is Lord's Lane now, that was discontinued somewhere in the beaten path. And I don't know if that was discontinued after the 47th fire, but I don't know. That was never a passable road in early 70s, and I don't ever remember them running a grader across it even for a fire lane.
I was driving that road in the 70s
Yeah.
and 70s into the 80s.
I sanded that road from 74 on, 75. I was in the truck, and that was never plowed and never maintained, and I worked on them town roads from 74 on through high school, so I never can ever remember a truck ever even going down across there. But there was a bridge that went out on that lower end and the Hollis end, and it was impossible to get up through there.
Well, for years it was a snowmobile trail,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Snowmobiles did come up across it, but I don't ever remember even putting snowmobile money on that piece of property, from the brick house
Out through.
out to the Hollis line.
It changes the Hollis
Yeah.
relatively quickly, then, right?
Out on the other end. So it's an intertown
Yeah,
road as well.
but it's probably a mile
So,
in there, isn't
are
it?
you saying that the original road went from Route 5 down through the brick house where young Stu lives today, right?
Yeah.
Or,
To
I
look
mean,
at
the way I read that stuff that you had sent was, I think, from Willis's down to Edgecombe's Bridge, right?
essentially, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because it had a funny nomenclature. It was, 2 miles and so
2
many
miles,
rods.
61 rods,
you know.
yeah. Yeah. So that was under county authority also, built out in that section. Going back and looking at the closures on it, I'm going to, the Maine Municipal Association has a book referencing discontinuance of roads and abandonments of roads. And for county roads prior to 1976, there was no statutory procedure for discontinuing county roads. And then in 1976, the county roads became town roads or town ways. So I think that if it was county up until 76, I don't believe we've done anything since 76 as far as discontinuing any of it. And the same for the Bennett Hill, which is where the discussion started anyways.
Yeah, 55, the 55 meeting included what is commonly referred to as Bennett Hill, or at least we make that assumption, right? But there was, McLucas Road extension, there was the one that goes up over the lane and all of that stuff on Mountain Road. But there were a whole list of roads on that meeting.
Yeah, I have another document that I got from the county records over there, and this was in 1953, and I think it's one of the reasons why the town had the meeting and did that big shotgun blast of 15 town roads. And
because they probably said you have to do something.
Well, you spoke about Raymond Badine, and this, if you don't mind, I'll read it. It says, Board of County Commissioners, York County Courthouse, Alfred, Maine. Gentlemen, we, the undersigned residents of the town of Waterboro, residing in the North Waterboro area, take this opportunity to bring to your attention a matter affecting the public convenience and safety, a matter to which the road, and this is a long time ago, a matter to which the road commissioner and selectmen of Waterboro have failed to give sufficient consideration and have neglected to take such steps as are obviously necessary. The foregoing comment has to do with the condition of the Limington Road, that section of the highway leading from Bradine's Ridge to Route 117 at Edscombe's Bridge on the Little Ospey River. The state of Maine, having already spent $15,000 on that portion of the Limington Road from the Secocas Trail at North Waterboro to the top of Bradine's Ridge above mentioned, it is evident that it is the duty and responsibility of the town of Waterboro to maintain as a safe and convenient way the unimproved section of the road, except when the same is closed to winter travel. This is a county road. So,
and I can remember them closing Chapman's Ridge off due to mud season. And I can remember them signs just as plain as day. And that was from Ham's Camp,
yes,
or Ham's Homestead to 117.
we've also closed, I guess it's called Mountain Road, McLucas. That closed that to mud season before. And there's record that I believe Middle Road, back before it was improved, was closed to mud. And we put up barriers and signs that said...
For years, we didn't plow through on Middle Road, or plowed Rosconna Road, which is now Middle Road, but we stopped plowing at the old Wheeler.
House, yeah. There was one living in the old homestead over there, and
you can remember when they stopped plowing Deering Ridge, right? So they plowed through on Deering Ridge.
Well, Hollis plowed Deering's Ridge in the beginning.
Right.
They came up from the Hollis end and stopped at our driveway.
So from what I read here, with the information that you shared with us that you uploaded onto the drive, Laura, is that Bennett's Hill Road is a county road.
Bennett's Hill Road was laid out, ordered and laid out by the county.
Yes.
back in the 30s. or
No, in the
40s.
70s, 1872.
Yeah, but the county issued all of those roads to the town. There is no such thing as a county road today, other than they started it, maintained it, and turned it over to the town at some point.
Well, 1976
Okay.
is when they were turned
I
over.
never knew when they turned them over, but
So the question then becomes, did the referendum at the town meeting in 1955 have the authority at that time to relinquish responsibility of that road? That's the question.
According to Natalie, we did.
well,
But I'm not sure that.
Natalie
did she
got
have
all
all
the
the
information
information?
that she deserved.
I mean, does she have this?
If you ask the right question, you get. a
Well, no, I'm
different
asking the
answer.
right question, I want the right answer.
You gotta give them all the,
So we'll have to, that's one of the pieces that we're gonna have to provide to her anyway.
What I've been able to find, okay, is that there was no statutory by the state procedure for discontinuing a county road. Up until in 1976, the county roads became town roads, and you could address it as a town way. But nothing was ever done from 76 forward on that road. as far as-
other than the state through legislature passed it on paper roads, abandoned roads, or discontinued roads. You couldn't put any money into a road for 20 years, and then they just changed it to 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah, but when that first came out, and we went through, the road review committee and planning board worked on that, I want to say mid-'80s, and it might have gone into the '90s to determine whether these roads, we had to determine as a town to whether these roads were abandoned or discontinued. And we went through, because the problem there was, out of your roads and bridge money, you never kept track of which road. And that would have been back, we was in search of that when Diane Holden was the town treasurer, because she did quite a bunch of the work for the road review and the planning board on that. Now, whether any of that paperwork is still here or not, I don't know.
Well,
But-
we're gonna have to shake this out, and I think if we can,
We have to, because these gentlemen keep,
Well,
I'm
he's
again, we gotta
he's
get a
done a
resolution.
wonderful job, and with the background of
I don't think it's ending, because they just came out with another article about discontinued roads. And it's in the
well,
legislature.
every time they have a legislative session, they change
Yeah.
the
Change the wording
nomenclature
of it.
again, and they change because somebody, you know,
has bought
You know,
a piece of land out in the boonies, and
you got all
they
these
wanna-
freshman legislators up there that wanna
well,
put their fingerprint on a,
Yeah, I'm just saying it's coming to a change again soon.
I think what we need to know is what existed at the time.
yeah.
There's a whole historical on that,
But-
on those House resolutions, those historicals are all there.
There is a lot of paperwork. Roland Denby had it. I don't know if anybody else had a copy of that or not, but hours and hours and hours spent here researching the discontinued or abandoned roads and whatnot.
To Fred, I'm trying to think, Fred Fay.
But, yeah,
Thank you. Fred Fay, was he the last elected road? Okay.
no.
No.
Doug
Doug.
Foglio was the
Doug,
last elected one.
Okay. Well, I remember Fred put significant money in both roads. Okay.
But,
The Bennett Hill Road and the Chadman's
well,
Ridge Road.
Glenn Bean was prior to Fred, and Glenn has put thousands of dollars in both of those roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were gonna grade it this summer.
Well, well, it could have been a state aid road at one time,
Yeah.
when we were developing it and
Yeah.
building it up to the transfer stations or beyond. It could have been, if it was county
Well,
originally, it could have been the state
It was
aid
actually
road.
discontinued before we got to we built quite a piece of road there, 1,500 or 1,800 feet of road,
Beyond what,
from the old the old landfill to the new dump. We started at the entrance of the landfill and went up through there, and we hauled the gravel out of the transfer station today. And that was what got started.
Another thing that's significant on these is being laid out by the county. They were 3-rod roads, So they're actually 50-foot roadways.
49 and a half.
Pardon?
49 and a half feet, but yeah.
Yeah, well, 3 rod.
And it always went from wall to wall in most cases.
So that's a pretty significant roadway in both cases. You know, it's not something to be,
Well, let's keep digging at it, and we'll,
It's not a,
ultimately, we'll,
it's not a wagon trail.
no. Okay.
Thank
okay,
you.
thanks, Clyde. And we'd ask Clyde that you put in your papers so you can become part of the road review committee.
We are missing a member.
We need one more for it.
Yeah, come on, Fred.
No time.
They work.
It's only one night a month.
Anything else? Anything else here tonight?
So we're gonna get these new documents over to Natalie.
I think we need to send at least a notification to Natalie that we've dug up enough information, or Clyde's dug up enough information to consider that it was a county road, which might not have been able to be closed, as he said.
Where
as it
where
was-
is Steve Ross in this process still?
I don't know.
He ain't gonna
He
tempt
was,
that.
Gary engaged Steve, so I don't
Okay.
know where Steve went.
I think we should just work with what we have right now.
So let's at least ask the question of Natalie. If we have objective evidence that these were laid out and were county roads, did the 1955 town meeting have the authority to close them?
I think on the MMA website, there's a mapping thing, and it does map out as a county road, it's a brownish colored state, it was a county road.
You know, but who's,
There you go.
I'm not sure that, you know, what's the accuracy of that? God, most communities don't even have accurate road maps.
We trust MMA for many other things.
Okay? Anything else? We are going to enter into an executive session, even though all 5 of us aren't here. We do have to have some discussion. So we will give everybody, I guess, 5 minutes to clear out, and then I'll take a vote on that.